we are talking about chapter related management. This chapter is relating to public relation management. Management means what? For function of managers. Means planning, organizing, leading and controlling. In this chapters we are going to focus on planning. The output of planning is a plan. The output of planning is a plan. So one of the major functions of public relation practitioner is setting a strategic plan. A strategic plan, tactical plan and operational plan. So in these chapters we are going to focus on how we are writing and formulating and understanding what are the main components of strategic plans. How the public relation practitioner feel that they are visionaries and they do understand what is going on, whether internally or externally. So we enumerate some of those questions in order to answer what strategic planning means or all about. What are we attempting to achieve? This is the first questions always we have to ask about, even for ourselves or even for our daily life. You have to ask yourself what you are planning to achieve in your life. So without understanding the main objectives, that means we don't know where we are going. Ask yourself, do you understand exactly where are you going? What exactly you want to achieve in your life? All of us, we have a specific and limited life. Do you ever think how to plan, how to achieve your objective, and what type of objective you have? Is it short objective, long-term objectives, or what? You want to achieve that you are already graduated, after that. Then after. So after mean what? Objectives. So whenever we talk about goals, we are talking about the main goal. So we have to be visionary. After 50 years, after 60 years, what did we achieve? Understood? So if we understand what are the main goals that we are trying to achieve along our life, it will be easy for you to start a planning. It is easy to understand what type of variables affecting you. It is easy for you to predict the type of circumstances. So what we are attempting to achieve, the second, and where are we going in that pursuit? And after we achieve that, what happens? Now, all of us, we passed by many stages. From elementary school, then secondary schools. And in secondary schools, you was waiting the results. And whenever you get 90%, it's for you something unbelievable. That you did able to achieve something that all your family they were looking for. So from your point of view, it was the end. No. After the secondary school, you enter the college. So, and you are waiting to finish your course. You want to hold a bachelor. But after, at the end, you are going to graduate. And you will have a graduation ceremony or a graduation party. So is that the end? Still, you want to get married. After, it is a big ceremony. Then after that, you are looking for a job. After you find a job, another event. After you have a new son. You understand? And every time you reach something else will rise. This is our life. So you have to understand where are you going. And where you are going in that pursuit. After that. So what is the nature of the environment in which we operate? This is يعني you have to penetrate in your environment. And if you still remember how many variables affecting us environmentally: technological environment, political environment, social environment, legal environment. We have the micro environment and we have a macro environment. You are going to analyze all these matters in order to set your own objectives. Third one, who are the key audiences? Who are your target customers, your target groups, your segment, your mass market? You have to divide the mass market into segmentations, into niche, into micro marketing, if you still remember. So you have to understand who are the key audiences we must convince in the process. We are planning to achieve a specific objective through our public. طب who exactly your public? We have external public and we have internal public. We have general public and we have specific publics. We have different type of publics. How we will get to where we want to be. How will we get to where we want to be? This is our plan. The last questions answer. If we are going to achieve the last questions, that means we should have a plan. What do you mean by a plan? The plan is the road. Is the road to achieve your objective. I have to pass by this road in order to achieve my objective. So if you're able to set your roads, to build your roads, you will be able to achieve your objective. How will we get to where we want to be? We are talking about a plan. Reporting to the top level of management. We know one of the functions, and we have for public relation practitioner is to report for the different departments. Here we talk about the top level of department, top level of management, to be valued as a public relation practitioner, and you feel that you have a value in your organizations. To be valued, public relation must remain independent. You always have to focus on your personalities and in your values. If you don't have your own values, if you don't have your own opinions, if you don't have your own print, you will be less values. You will be valueless. Nobody will respect you. So as a public relation practitioner, as public relation manager, you should have your own values, your own personality. You should feel that you are credible. They should feel that you are credible. So the value means that you are credible from the eyes, from the management perspective. You have a big value from their perspective. You are credible ones. Your reports are credible. Your reports are accurate. Your reports are comprehensive. Your reports, it has a big quality and objective. You should be objective and you should have an objective. Now, I want to report. What's your main objective from that report? You have to understand. In the same time, you have to be objective with regard to what? Whenever you start writing your report or sending a report, you are reporting for someone with what?
Unbiased.
A credible, accurate, a truthful, what? Report, informations. It is not a fake or vague data. That means whenever you start writing your report, you conduct researches. You exert efforts to do that report. Not just a matter of just writing anything and you don't have a basis for that report. So you'll be a big liar. In many organizations, this reporting relationship is not the case. Public relation is often subordinated to advertising, marketing, legal or human resource. And as all these departments, they have reports, also we have our reports. Whereas marketing and advertising, you promote the product and services, public relation promote the entire organization. This is the big difference between advertising, marketing and public relations. Whenever we talk about those people, we are talking about the specific departments. They are reporting for their departments. They are writing something about the progress in marketing or the progress in advertising or anything. But whenever we talk about public relation, we are talking about something related to the entire organization. Public relations should be the corporate consensus. And organizations, public relation professionals should enjoy enough autonomy, independent people to deal openly and honestly with management. All disciplines must work to maintain their own independence while building long-term relationship for the good of the organizations. You can build a long-term relationship for the good of organization, but through the discipline must work to maintain their own independence. Nobody can affect your report. Nobody can affect your report. You are totally objectives. If you want to build a long-run relationship, you have to stand in a solid ground with regard to your reporting. On the value of reputations. Always, whenever we talk about reputations, we are talking about public relation management. You are managing the reputation of the whole organizations. So that's why on the value of reputations, and our ultimate goal for public relation practitioner is what? Is to protect our image, our reputation, to manage our reputation. We can't afford to lose money. All the organizations, they are losing money, even a lot of money. But we can't afford to lose our reputation, not even a shred of our reputation. حتى لو ذرة بسيطة. We are not trying to lose, because something related to our image. So if someone try to talk about you unfavorably, that means this is the start of declining stage. So we can lose money, we can lose everything, but we can't lose even a shred of our reputations. الإنسان فينا ما بيقدر يعيش بدون، إذا كانت سمعته، لو أي واحد خدش سمعته ما بيعرف يعيش. ضل يحكي مع حاله something related to his personality, he's going، يعني ممكن يصير عنده distraction. طبعا هذا الكلام لمين؟ للسي اي او اسمه بريكاشير هاثاوي. نعم.
When we talk about the previous class about the opponents, people, and we said we don't deal with them because they will lose our time and our money. And this side we talked about, we may lose a lot of money, and the opponents people, they may affect our image in the market.
Mm.
So how we can deal with this thing?
I don't know if you got me or not. Come again, try to explain more.
We said before about the opponents people, they can affect
we divided our public into, I think, 5 classes.
Yeah, external, internal,
الانثيستكس، البوزيتيف، الindifference, والنيجاتيف والhostile. So I said, if we are talking about our opponents, like negative attitude or hostile, don't try to approach them because they already formed an attitude and it's very hard to change this attitude. So I focus on what? on the both people, the supporter and the indifference. Indifference, you can get a big market share. I'm not talking about opponents that don't try to talk with them. No, talk with them. But don't put in your mind that those people, they are going to transfer whenever you talk with them. You need long time. You need long experience to do that. And you have to pay a lot of money in order to change them. So which is better? Here we are as a business perspective, as business oriented, we talk about something here, cost benefit analysis. If I'm going to spend money and I will get them, it's okay. But if not, why I have to spend my money? This is from business perspective. But whenever we talk about social sciences or social matters, you don't pay that much expenses. And in order to change someone, he's far away from his religion, and you spend your time to talk with him in order to let him pray, that means you are not sacrificing your time or sacrificing your money. You have what we call morally. Morally, you have to call him to these matters. And it is an obligatory matters to talk with that one. You have to pray. But whenever we talk about, like today, different parties, political parties, and we are not talking about subordinates. We are talking about memberships. Very hard. And give me someone who was a member of any political party. He's a membership, and he transferred to another. Seldom. Rarely. Rarely. That's why whenever we talk about marketing, we are not expecting from those people to change.
And also they are a small share in the marketing.
They are a small share. Why I have to? Why I have to spend a lot of money? I don't know if I get you or not. I explained. I answered your questions or not yet? I don't. Right. What are the dangers? Now it's your turn. It's your turn now, as a student. What are the dangers of public relation reporting to advertising or marketing or the legal department? What are the dangers of public relation reporting to advertising, marketing or legal department? Each one of those, they are writing a report for their departments. But from public relation perspective, they are reporting for whom? For the whole organizations. This is the big dilemma. The job mistakenly becomes one of the promoting a specific department rather than the organization as. And the advertising department, they are reporting for advertising, marketing for marketing. But whenever we talk about public relation, we are talking about the whole internal and external publics. So one report, it may hurt the general or the reputation of the organizations. Conceptualizing public relation plans. We had an introduction, and we now start talking about how we conceptualize our plan, how we are going to understand the plan. What are the main components of the plan? I said the plan is the output of the planning process. We start the planning in order to have a plan. So how we are conceptualizing this public relation plan? Strategic planning for public relation is an essential part of management. We have comment, we have no comment. If we are talking about strategic planning for public relation, is an essential part of management. Why would they call us managers? Why they are calling us managers? Managers mean that we are going to manage our resources. If you don't have a plan, you will not be able to manage these resources. You are going to waste all these resources. Planning is critical, is important. Not only to know where our particular campaign is headed, I know it is headed for a specific public, but also to win the support of the top level of management. Yeah, I understand, but I want also to support or to guarantee the support of the top level of management. With the proper planning, public relation practitioner can defend and account their actions. You want to defend your actions, you should have your own plan. If you want to feel account on specific matters, you have to have a plan. Account means accountable. Whenever I set my plan, I am accountable in this plan. So whenever I start implementing the plan, I feel accountable. And I can challenge anyone. And what I mean if the top level of management, they want to evaluate your actions, they have their own plan. They can implement or they can evaluate the process or the steps of your plan, so they can measure your success or failures through the plan you are already set. Understood? Before organizing for public relation work, practitioner must consider objectives and strategies. Again, without objectives, without strategies, planning and budgeting, research and evaluation. So we are talking about, again, about the process of public relation. What are those processes? Race. Again, we are talking about the process. Whenever we talk about public relation process, we are talking about race. Research, action, and evaluation. طبعا هذه بعيد لنا اياها طبعا. The broad environment in which the organization operates must dictate. The broad environment in which organization operates must dictate. So whenever we start identifying and setting our objectives, we have to understand from where we bring our objectives. From where we are bringing our objectives? From our environment. The environment, they are dictating us. هم بيفرضوا علينا the nature of objective that we are going to achieve. The broad environment in which the organization operates must dictate the overall business objectives. That means you can't set your objective and you are isolated from your environment. How you will understand that your objective is matching your technological environment or your political environment or your social environment? So you have to be aware of all these type of different factors affecting your environment in order to set your objectives. So here is the management model for public relation planning. You have to focus with me because this is the plan that you are going to answer at the end of this course. All of you should have your own plan. And now we start planning, and these are the main components of your plan at the end of the course. I said from the beginning, you have to select an issue. Any one of us, all of you should select an issue. And you should set a plan for this issue and how you are going to achieve it. So these are the main components of the plan. Number one, environment. Second, business objectives. So we get business objective from where? From the environment. Public relation objective and strategies. Now, we have to differentiate. We have between the organization general objectives and public relation objective. Business objective, they have the main goal. And the different department organizations, they are all of them, they are seeking achieving this general goal by setting each objective. And each department, they should set their own objective in order to reach this type of goals. So public relation objective and strategies and public relation programs. And after you set your strategy, what you are going to do, you have to set your program, the program that you are going to implement in order to reach your objectives. Setting objectives and formulating strategies and the planning are essential if the public relation function is to be considered equal in stature to other management process. Setting objectives, formulating strategy and planning is essential. Like any other function, like any other department in the organizations. إذا إحنا بنعتبر إنه الببليك ريليشن ديبارتمنت زيها زي أي كذا، لازم تكون عندها إيه؟ objective and the strategies and the plans. Traditionally, the public relation management process involves 4 steps. The public relation management process اللي احنا حكيناهم توي. Number 1, these are the main steps or the main process traditionally. Defining the problem or an opportunities. يعني you have to define the issue that you already selected. Programming, actions and evaluations. Number 1, defining the problem or opportunities. This requires researching current attitudes and opinions about the issues, product, candidate or company in questions and determining the essence of the problem. يعني in order to determine the core of the problem, the essence of the problem, what I have to do, it requires researching. So we will start conducting research in order to what? To diagnose the problem that we are going to solve. Sometimes I don't have to go deeply in reading in order to understand what specific issue I have to handle. All of us, we are, for example, we are suffering from cigarettes. It is a big issue. والشيشة الآن second issue. والtramadol it is a third issue. The way we dress up is a fourth issue. Where we spend our time, another issue. It is a big issue, a fake book. I call it a fake book, not a Facebook. It is a fake. Everything is false. You just write and watching pictures and like that, and you are wasting your time for nothing. And ask yourself at the end what you are reaching. Yani I hope that we deal with the Facebook as it is, as an effective tools of communications. But what we are doing, we are wasting our time. That's why I call it what? Fake book. Fake because we are sending information, distorted informations, distorted pictures. Fake, everything is fake. None of us are realistic in writing. And we don't write, we just look. So, defining a problem or opportunities, this requires researching current attitudes and opinion about the issues. What is the current attitudes of cigarettes? And how we can get rid from this bad habits. This requires researching current attitude and opinion about the issues. We may investigate an issue, we may investigate a product, we may investigate a candidate whenever we talk about politics or politicians or a company. These are the different fields where can I find issues. In questions and determining the essence of the problem. We have to go forward directly to the core of the problem. We don't have to talk about the symptoms. What we are tackling nowadays or treating nowadays is the symptoms of the problem, and we still far away from the essence, from the roots of the problem. احنا بنتعامل مع قشور لحل المشاكل، ننسى اللي هو الاسنس. programming. We define, we set our issues, we determine our issue, specific issue, then we start programming. This is the formal planning stage. The formal planning stage, which addresses the key constituents, publics. Here we have to understand who are the most constituent publics. We are talking about secondary, we are talking about youth, we are talking about women, we are talking about genders, education. Where we are talking about exactly? We are talking about strategies, tactics, and goals. So first of all, identifying our problem. Then the second, who are the key audience. Third, نكملها strategies, tactics, and goals. Strategic as a general, as a broad term, then tactics for the middle level, then we have what we call the operational goals. Actions. We already set the plan, our program, then we have to start action. Action means always what? The implementation of the program. Is the communication phase. If we want to understand the communication phase, where we have to go? Communication in chapter 3. كله شرحنا في communication. Evaluation, the final process, is the assessment of what worked, what didn't, and how to improve the future. Always we have to evaluate our efforts, if we are able to achieve our objectives, if we are departed from our objective, how we are going to revise it, how we can modify it, then what we are going to do later on. Each of these 4 process steps is important. Yani we can't identify the problem and we are neglecting the others, or we can't start implementing the actions and we don't evaluate whether we achieved our objective or not. So each one of these steps are important. Notes. All planning require thinking. All planning require thinking. Yani you can start planning without thinking. When and why and how. You have to think it over, and you have to think it well, and you have to go deeply in your environment in order to think well. A planning is a short-term public relation program. خليك معي. Planning is a short-term program to promote a new service. Yani if you want to promote a new service, we don't have to use a long-term planning. It may require less thoughts and time than planning a long-term campaigns to win support of public policy issues. You have to exert too much effort and you have to spend a lot of time in order to what? To support the public policy issues. Because the people is very hard sometimes to deal or to comply with these policies. But whenever you are promoting a new service, you don't have to use a long-term objective. Because this new as a long, it will become what? Old. So you don't need 1 year to promote one new service, short term. But whenever we talk about how we change a specific public policy or public attitudes, you need long time. You need a long plan. Like what happened with cigarettes, as we have seen in the case of cigarettes in the United States. And since 40 or 50 years ago, they're trying to solve this dilemma, but till now they didn't. And they still have to exert. Creating the public relation plan. The public relation plan must be spelled out in writing. And if you want to tell me that you are planning, I have to see your own plan. I have to see something in my hand, not something in your mind. I need a written plan. Its organization must answer management concern. And whenever I pass by this plan, I want to feel that these objectives in your plan are related to the manager's concern, the top level management concerns. مش هيك؟ Its organization. الorganization بيحكي فيها ايش؟ التنظيم، تنظيم الخطة نفسها. Its organization must answer. يعني whenever I look at the plan, this plan is supposed to answer the management concerns and the questions about the campaign being recommended. What type of campaign, when we are going, who are the key audience, like that. Here is one way it might be organized and what it should answer. Typically, component includes. الآن we are talking about the organization of your plan. يعني ايش يعني معناها؟ الهيكلية تبعت ايه؟ الخطة اللي انت بدك تعملها. templates. First of all, we are talking about executive summary. In the beginning, you can't write your executive summary unless you finish your plan. Why? Because as long as we are talking about executive summary, we are talking about an overview about your plan. That means you already passed by all process in order to write this short summary. ولا لا؟ في واحد بيبدأ بالشورت سمري على طول. Second, communication process. Third, background, situational analysis, message statement, audiences, key audiences message, implementation, budget, monitoring and evaluation. These are the main components, like typical components of the public relation plan.
يعطيكم العافية يا شباب. Today, inshallah, I will gonna explain for you a nice case. But before I explain the case for you, I want to remember you about the previous classes to make a link between the chapter and this case. So we talked in the earlier classes about the management, and we know that there is what is the job of the chief executive officer. That we know the chief executive officer, he is the firm top manager. He is responsible for making strategies and to making the policies for the organization. And we know the chief executive officer, he must defend for the reputation of his own firm. And we talked about earlier classes about the public relation practitioner. He must have a good personality to attract the people and to change their opinions and the attitudes for the people. So, and we talk about that the public relation practitioner, he must deal or perform in any crisis. He must perform and deal and have the ability to deal in any crisis. And we said there are three important characteristics must be in the public relation practitioner. He must be independent, and he must be credible source of information, and he must be what? Independent and credible and objective. And we said previous that we can lose our money, even a lot of money, but we never ever lose our reputation in the market. So before I can start this case, the name of this case is Appearance of an Out of the Shadow Public Relation Chief Executive Officer. When we read this title, we know perilous, it means there is a danger thing. For the public relation must be in the shadow. That means the public relation must be invisible. The public relation mustn't deal with the people directly. Tamam? Mustn't deal with the people directly in some cases. So the public relation must be visible for the people. They only deal with the candidate or only deal with a specific person. Okay? So this case is considered about Mark Ben and Hillary Clinton. Mark Ben is a political strategist. He is the worldwide chief executive officer of the public relations firm Pearson Marstell. His clients, U.S. President Bill Clinton and the British Prime Minister Tony Blair and Bill Gates. So we can see he is a political strategist and he is a chief executive officer for the public relation firm. He has own firm for public relation, and he has very famous clients, Bill Clinton and Tony Blair and Bill Gates. This is three famous persons. They have a lot of people. There is a lot of people that support them in their life, and even though he is a public relation advisor for Hillary Clinton in her 2008 president campaign. The problem is about what? Presidential campaign, yeah. The problem is, in this case, to sum up the problem, Mark Ben was as I said, he was the advisor for Hillary Clinton. Tamam? At the same time, the public relation practitioner must be
He was the CEO of
other firms. Yeah, before he was the advisor for Hillary Clinton campaign.
so something like a conflict of
Yeah,
it comes into clear.
exactly. So he is the advisor for her public campaign. At the same time, the people, or his characteristic, the people know that the Mark Ben, he is the advisor for her in everything. So the spotlight of the people and for the media only for Mark Ben. So anything Mark Ben will do it will affect Hillary Clinton. Okay, and vice versa. Anything Hillary Clinton will do it will affect Mark Ben. Tamam? So the problem is, after the people know that he is the advisor, he deal with a Colombian government to have a free trade pact, to propose a free trade pact. At the same time, Hillary Clinton, in her campaign, she totally refused to the free trade both with the Colombian government. تمام فاهمين عليا؟ يعني هو باختصار كان كل شيء يحكيه عن هيلاري كلينتون. اجى بعد فترة اتفق مع الحكومة الكولومبية انه يعملوا تجارة حرة بينه وبين الكولومبيان جفرمنت. في حملة كلينتون، هيلاري كلينتون، هي كانت تقول لك انا ضد الاتفاق هذا. طب كيف انت انه تحكي ان انا ضد الاتفاق هذا؟ تمام؟ وفي نفس الوقت المستشار تاعك هو بده يسهل الاشياء هذا للحكومة الامريكية. فاهمين؟ فايش صار في عندنا مشكلة؟ صار في عندنا مشكلة كونفليكت اوف انترست. انه هو وظيفته Chief Executive Officer for Public Relation Firm بغض regardless the Hillary Clinton campaign. At the same time he was the Public Relation advisor for Hillary Clinton. So there is a conflict of interest. This problem came from because the Mark Ben he wasn't in the shadow. The media and the people know who is the advisor for her. تمام؟ إنه هم عرفوا مين المسؤول، إنه مين هو اللي بيمشيك هيلاري كلينتون، عرفوا إنه مارك بن. هو الصح the truth إنه هو be in shadow, invisible from the people. They mustn't know who are responsible for your advice. For
But now the focusing of the publicity of the journalists were in there. Then he will be able to assign a deal with the Colombian government in order to have a free trade zone or something like that. And Hillary, in her campaign, she was saying that she's going to decrease the unemployment rate. How you have your own another agreement with the Colombians, and you are going to decrease the unemployment rate in Colombia and decreasing it where?
In US.
Instead of decreasing the unemployment rate in America, we are going to deal with Colombians. So suppose we are focusing on our employees, not about where. So this one, he played like a double course or a double roles, multitask with both of them. So instead of focusing on Hillary, they start focusing on the interest of them.
So we have something what's called conflict of interest. Tamam? So what should we do? Me as a public relation practitioner, I must be in the shadow to avoid the conflict of interest. The people must not know I'm advisor for who or for whom. تمام. I must be in the shadow. No one can know me. To avoid this conflict of interest.
No, it doesn't matter. It is a debatable. This is a case and it is a debate.
Yeah, but in this case you must be like this because it's a very sensitive case.
This is
Yeah.
you are going to talk about that. What I want to say that you as a public relations practitioner, you can work in any field. You can work in any field, in non-profit organization, in politics, in everywhere. You can do whatever. But here, no, you make some duplication, some confusion of interest. And you don't have to talk about, for example, I can work for Jawad, but I can't work in the same time for Wadanin. They are my opponent. But I can work for Baltin and Jawal and Fusion and any other because they are not what? Competitors. That's what we want to say. So in these things, I don't have to have two positions. And it is to deal with Hillary Clinton as a political campaign is enough for me than to be also a CEO for any other organization.
Other firm. Yeah, so we had some important things that we can say. One head in public relation is better than two head. Good? Any question, any comments? يعطيكم العافية.
ممكن تعمل تساؤلات كثير. أنا feel I can. But whenever I feel that this position will hurt my client, I have to stop. فهو هو able to hurt her. طبعا إن عرفنا إنه she did not win in that campaign. ولا وجهوا على المنطقة بدل وجه الأمور عليها هي ووجهوا على مين؟ على الضريبة صراحة إنه صاحب مصالح وبيعمل صفقات وهي عارفة الكلام هذا. وضحت؟ أيضا. يعطيكم العافية.